It's 5 p.m. here in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's take you on a journey around the world in the next hour. I'm Joke Rogers. Here's what's coming up on the world today. Palestinian militant group Hamas announces the death of its political leader, Ismail Haniyeh, in the Iranian capital, Tehran. Israeli Defense Forces claims it killed Hezbollah's senior military commander, Fuad Shukr, in a targeted strike in Beirut, but there's been no confirmation from the group. And Ukraine says it destroyed more than 30 Russian-launched drone attacks over the capital, Kyiv. The World Today begins right now. Welcome back to The World Today. Let's quickly check on happenings here in Nigeria. And ahead of the nationwide protests expected to commence tomorrow, let's listen to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as he once again weighs in on the situation, appealing for calm.
Would save the nation almost $8 billion annually, and we believe this will further strengthen the Naira. Presidential initiative on compressed natural gas is attracting a lot of private investment into the establishment of conversion and refueling centers across the nation. We know that CNG will bring down the cost of transportation and reduce commuting and the energy transition that I've been talking about. Why then should there be a protest? All that we require now is to be patient for the benefit of the economic recovery policies to blossom and to grow. Protests, in our view, can never achieve in 10 days what carefully crafted economic reforms can achieve in a matter of weeks and months. More than ever before, our nation is blessed with a courageous leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let me therefore assure you that Nigeria is headed in the right direction, and the benefit of these hard reforms will percolate to all very soon. As a state, we are also not unaware of the effects of the economic reforms on our people. To cushion these effects, you will recall we launched the Eco Cares, our own bespoke social protection initiative. Under that program, we introduced the popular Sunday discount market, where all residents bought basic foodstuff at a 25% discount rate across the 57 locations statewide. Our own JECO came as a form of immediate relief to hundreds of thousands of homes, in which millions of our vulnerable people have benefited from. Similarly, under the Eco Cares initiative, we have reduced public transportation costs by a minimum of 25% on all our public transport services. This costs our government almost $2 billion on a monthly basis. We introduced free delivery for expectant mothers in all of our public health facilities. Besides, our health personnel ran a medical outreach under which thousands of our residents were treated for various ailments free of charge. To cater for our tertiary institutional students, we have since increased bursary and scholarship awards to Lagos students to reflect the current economic reality. New entrants into our elementary school do not need to pay a dime. Our workers earn the wage award announced since January by the federal government. In fact, we dare say that the least worker since January this year earned more than the minimum wage. If you can go and check the new minimum wage, go and check, the least worker in Lagos actually earn over 77,000 naira. So the question is, can we do more? The answer is yes. We can do more, and we will. Just this morning, almost 2,000 graduates of our Skill Acquisition Center They were all supported with various equipment to start their micro businesses in barbing, in tailoring, in hairdressing, in catering, in craft making. And you were all there. Sewing machines were given out, tiling machines, clippers, power generators, cooking pots, cutters, fish feeds, aluminum cutters, fridge freezers, all sorts to meet the needs of all of these medium-scale workers. The popular Sunday Onje Eko discount market, I can assure you, will return. So will the outreach program, which we believe will continue to provide free medical care for our people. So you know that I've also signed just last week to broaden our Ilera Eco health insurance scheme, which will cover a lot more vulnerable citizens in Lagos State. Against this backdrop of all of this effort and intervention, and many more that time will not permit me to list, we should sincerely ask ourselves, what will a protest be seeking to achieve at this time? So, my dear fellows of Lagos, let me again assure you that we are committed to improving the living standard of our people. That is a solemn pledge that we made to you while seeking your mandate. And we intend to keep this pledge till our very last day in office. Peaceful protests are fundamental rights protected by the Constitution in a democracy as ours. But vying to sack an elected government in 10 days by means of protest is alien to our Constitution. To the organizers of a protest, I repeat, while your intentions may be noble, do not substitute your intentions with the motives of other forces. Your gathering is all they perhaps require to perpetrate their own acts. After all, there cannot be a fifth columnist if there were no columns. If your protest gathering becomes a column, then there could indeed be a fifth columnist. I therefore want to appeal to all of you that we should reflect on our past experiences, especially 4 years ago, during the NSAS protests. What then began as a peaceful demonstration, fortunately over days was hijacked by elements with devilish intentions. They unleashed an unprecedented war on our state. We saw the destruction of valuable properties, the disruption of businesses, and sadly the loss of life in several parts of our dear state. These events, we all remember, left deep scars on our state, and it hurts our psyche. We are yet to fully recover from the mindless destruction of some symbols of our rich and veritable, enviable heritage. The Lagos High Court in Ogboshere, which then was the most recognizable, the oldest court building in our country, and over 15 additional courts. Over 45 police stations were set ablaze, over 12 local government offices, 7 fire stations, the only forensic lab in West Africa, the iconic City Hall, the Nigerian Port Authority, just to mention but a few. They were all destroyed. So were several bank facilities, malls, shops, offices, hundreds and hundreds of BRT buses, and several other public assets. No true Lagosian or any friend of Lagos will encourage us to go this route again. This is not who we are. This is not our way, and they are not in any form our style. Fellow Lagosians, we must remember that our shared goal is a peaceful and a prosperous Lagos. The consequences of unrest are not just measured in the damage of properties or in the disruption of our daily life. They are also felt in the loss of confidence, the fear instilled in our communities, on our tourists, on our foreign direct investors that are looking at us, and the setback to our economic and social progress. A progress that all of us have joined hands to build together. As your servant and your governor, I assure you that our government is open to dialogue, and we're committed to addressing the concerns of all our citizens. We are actively engaging with various stakeholders to find solutions that will promote justice, equality, equity, and fairness. It is through constructive dialogue, not destructive protest, that we can achieve a meaningful change. I therefore will urge you all to consider the potential precautions of joining a protest that may once again expose us to the fiendish acts of those who do not admire our unity and common compassion for our dear state. Let us not allow our city to be plunged into chaos again. Let us work together to build a Lagos that is safe, that is secure, and prosperous for all. Lagos continues to remain the safest city in our country. Our strength lies in our unity. It lies in our future, which depends on our collective efforts to maintain peace and stability. In these challenging times, we must stand together as one community. We must reject violence and disorder, and instead, we all must embrace dialogue and collaboration. Let us show the world that Lagos remains a city of resilience. Lagos is where the voices of its people are heard and respected through a peaceful and a lawful means. Let us say no to any form of violence. I think it's important for me to now also share a word of caution that we're beginning to see a trend in which fake news, false news will begin to appear on social media via video or audio recording. These are things that are meant to destabilize us, to break us, and to make this place completely ungovernable, unlivable for us. You have also seen the results and the outcome of a court judgment that the government needed to get clarification from. That indeed, if it is a true and peaceful protest, 2 locations, which were also the fallout of the recommendations coming out from our learning of 4 years ago, is that we should continue to designate 1 or 2 locations for peaceful protest. So I'm therefore reiterating that the police have confirmed to us that the Ganifa-Emi Park and the Peace Park that we all jointly set up are 2 locations where the police have assured us that they will cover, they will provide all the necessary security arrangements to all of our citizens. I therefore want to thank you for your understanding and your cooperation. Together, we can continue to build a brighter future for our beloved Lagos. I want to thank you very much, and God bless Lagos State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, gentlemen of the press. Thank you.
39 police officers have been injured after unrest broke out in Southport hours after a vigil took place to remember the victims of a knife attack there. Earlier, 8 officers had sustained serious injuries, including fractures, lacerations, a suspected broken nose and concussion. The disorder, which police believe involves English Defence League supporters, took place a few streets away from the vigil location. The instigators threw bricks at a nearby mosque, set fire to cars and damaged a local convenience store. 27 officers were taken to hospital and 12 were treated and discharged at the scene. Every July 30th marks the United Nations World Day Against Human Trafficking. In this regard, many aid agencies are lending their voices to the concerns and challenges associated with human trafficking, one of which is the Live Abundantly organization in partnership with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, the United Nations Refugees Agency, UNHCR, as well as the International Organization for Migration, as they seek to raise awareness on the menace of human trafficking. As part of its usual tradition, the organization and several stakeholders held its annual awareness walk campaign in Ikeja, the Lagos state capital, to sound the alarm on the dangers of human trafficking and reduce the vulnerability of victims.
It's not just a test of physical strength, but a road work commemorating the United Nations World Day Against Human Trafficking. The recommended footwear is sneakers and any other gear to aid one's walk. So dressed in yellow t-shirts and blue caps, the awareness campaign against human trafficking kicks off with partners from the Live Abundantly organization, UN agencies and members of the civil society. They make a stop over at the Ikeja Underbridge and Computer Village. The Live Abundantly founder highlights the needs to educate the community in order to tackle the issues of human trafficking.
We hope that through this walk, we educate the community and that we get all stakeholders, from parents to teachers to community members, national, regional, and international, to make the protection of human beings, particularly children, a priority. We must address this issue head on. We cannot continue to walk year in, year out, and still the numbers continue to increase.
This year's theme focuses on children, and the message from NAPTIP is clear: to protect every child and save them from traffickers.
The 30th of July every year since the 2016, we have celebrated or commemorated the World Day Against Human Trafficking, a day where we come together as organizations, state and non-state actors, to say no, to take a symbolic stand and a symbolic walk against human trafficking, educating people that even though slavery has been abolished, there are people who are still exploiting others and turning them into modern day slaves. And then you also have children who are trafficked and forced into domestic servitude. People prefer to use children because they can be controlled, but NAPTIP, the whole of Nigeria, is standing up to tell you this year, leave no child behind in the fight against human trafficking. That's our theme. And we're telling you that no child is a slave.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Refugee Agency is advocating for proper information to be given to children, particularly to those in displaced camps.
We have continued as UNHCR and IOM and government, NAPTIP, to work together in collaboration with all the stakeholders to be able to share information, disseminate information, do advocacy, do training, and also teach our refugees that human trafficking is real and this is a human rights violation, and they have to ensure that whenever they want support, assistance, they have to come to recognized entities. We call upon government and partners to work together in collaboration, in solidarity with victims of human trafficking, so that at the end of the day, we can find solutions to their problems.
With several years of creating awareness, these 8 organizations are reiterating the need to constantly raise awareness on human trafficking and accelerate urgent action to the human traffickers.
Nigerians in the diaspora have been called on to partner with the federal government to build the Nigeria of our dreams through their skills, talents, and expertise. This call was made by the First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, in Abuja as a special guest of honor during the 2nd National Diaspora Merit Awards organized by Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. 20 Nigerians in diaspora were presented with awards in various categories, while 4 were given special recognition awards. She also commended the chairman of NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabire-Rewa, for being proactive in driving the ship of Nigerians abroad for positive national development and pledged her support for the commission. Well, that's our program today. Thank you so much for watching. Coming up next on our DSTV platform for our viewers on DSTV is a documentary on the Kaduna State Stakeholders Meeting. And on all our other platforms, please stay tuned for sports news at 6 p.m.